This is Cabinet of Curiosities with Rebecca Navarro, a space where we collect curious stories about art. What would you preserve in a Cabinet of Curiosities? Cabinet of Curiosities number 4, the most stolen work of art, the Ghent Altarpiece. They call it the most stolen work of art in the world. Many scholars agree that it is the most important early oil painting that ever existed. This is the Ghent Altarpiece, or the Adoration of the Mystic Lamb, painted by the Flemish brothers Hubert and Jan Van Eyck. Without a doubt, this is a very important work of art. But the more information I find, the more I question its importance and think about all the art, and not just the European art, that has been looted, confiscated, stolen, and destroyed all over the world. Keep this in mind as you listen to this story I have for you today. Is it really the most important and most stolen work of art in the world? Or rather the most famous, the best known? I leave it to you to choose. Throughout its almost 600-year history, many things have happened to this, claimed to be one of the most important paintings ever made. It was commissioned by Jodocus Bet, or Juus Bet, who requested Hubert to paint it. But after Hubert passed away, it was his brother, the now more famous Jan Van Eyck, who finished it in 1432. Its original name is The Adoration of the Mystic Lamb. According to many authors, as Van Eyck used layers of paint to create very realistic and perfectionist work of art with oil paint, different from everything that had been made at that point. Its original home was Saint Bavo's cathedral in Ghent, Belgium. Of huge proportions, it measures 14.5 by 11.5 feet, around 4.4 by 3.5 meters, and weighs more than 2 tons. The Ghent Altarpiece consists of 12 panels that fold against themselves, showing a total of 24 images of biblical figures and events. When the altarpiece is closed, which is usually, we can view the panels in depictions, going from the Annunciation, prophets, to those who commissioned it, Jodocus Bet and his wife Lisbeth Borlut. When the altarpiece is open, the depictions we can see are God sitting on his throne, Virgin Mary, John the Baptist, Adam and Eve, angels singing, and of course, the magnificent scene of the Adoration of the Mystic Lamb. It is a wonder to see, a very complex work of art. And, by the way, I have exciting news. I have created a YouTube channel under Arte Inclusivo, Inclusive Art, to speak about this work of art in detail, and I hope many more are to come. So once you finish listening, I invite you to join me there as well. According to scholar Noah Charney, there have been 13 different attempts against the altarpiece of different sorts, and I quote, "It's almost been destroyed in a fire, was nearly burned by rioting Calvinists, it's been forged, pillaged, dismembered, censored, stolen by Napoleon, hunted in the First World War, sold by a renegade cleric, then stolen repeatedly during the Second World War, before being rescued by the monument's men, miners, and a team of commando double agents. The fact that it was the artwork the Nazis were most desperate to steal, Göring wanted it for his private collection, Hitler as the centerpiece of his citywide super museum, has only increased its renown." Let's take a look at some of these events. 1566, Calvinists attempted to steal it and burn it, as according to Calvin and iconoclasm, images held no religious relevance and could lead to idolatry. Fortunately, guards foiled the plan by hiding the work. 1794, Napoleon's army stole 4 panels, which ended up on display in the Louvre. After Napoleon was defeated in 1815, Louis XVIII was restored to the throne and returned the pilfered pieces to Ghent. 1816. Under unclear circumstances, 6 panels from the wings of the altar were sold, and after sales and releases, they came into the hands of the King of Prussia in 1821, who passed them on to the Kaiser Frederick Museum in Berlin. 1919. As a condition of the Treaty of Versailles, all the panels were returned to Ghent. 1934. The lower left panel, featuring the just or righteous judges, was stolen, and a ransom was demanded. The painting of St. John the Baptist, which was on the back of the panel, was later returned by the perpetrators. However, the panel itself was never returned. it is still one of the greatest mysteries of art, as, after being taken by, apparently, two men dressed in black the night of April 10th of 1934, a series of curious events developed. The Bishop of Ghent received a ransom demand of 1 million Belgian francs, which is around $1 million of today. After some negotiations, the back panel with a painting of St. John the Baptist was returned, despite that the money was never given to the extortionists. After a few weeks, 57-year-old stockbroker Arsène Gudetier suffered a heart attack. On his deathbed, he confessed to his lawyer that he was the only one who knew where the original Just Judges panel was hidden. According to some, his last words were desk, key, closet, folder marked mutualité. The lawyer found carbon copies of the ransom letters, plus an unsent one, with a tantalizing clue to the whereabouts of the stolen panel. It is in a place where neither I nor anyone else can take it without going unnoticed. Investigations continued through the days, the months, the years, the decades, and the panel is still missing today. World War II. Both Adolf Hitler and Hermann Göring wanted the artwork very badly. The theories circle around the conspiracy that they believed the work was a coded map to lost Christian relics that could provide supernatural powers to those who possessed them. According to others, it was to right its wrongful return by the Treaty of Versailles. Whatever the reason, Hitler's forces ultimately located the altarpiece, which was en route to the Vatican for safekeeping. The Nazis hid the Ghent Altarpiece in a salt mine with other looted works, and it was narrowly saved from destruction thanks to some miners who, aware that the order was to blow up the cave if the Allies arrived, risked their lives to deactivate the bombs. The Monument's men, a US Army force tasked with saving art looted by the Nazis, later arrived, rescued, and restored the work, returning it to Ghent. They say history is written by the victors. Ask yourself the following: who has written the history of art? How much does it have to do with the fact that the Great Altarpiece of Ghent is from Belgium and not from any other non-white country in the world? There must be an impressive number of works, especially non-European, that have had the same or worse fate than the famous Ghent Altarpiece. And yet, it is important that we know about the history of this work, since art is a heritage of humanity. The altarpiece remains to this day in Saint Bavo's cathedral, incomplete, with the panel of the Just Judges still missing. Many books, novels, articles, and more have been written about this, a painting with a very particular history. The colonial history of art has given it even more importance and makes us question all those works in the world that have not received equal attention. However, we can place the Ghent Altarpiece in our very own Cabinet of Curiosities of Arte Inclusivo, Inclusive Art, the podcast. What other work of art would you put in the cabinet? Until next time. This was Cabinet of Curiosities, a space where we discover, preserve, and collect many curious stories about art.